Christy Days. We have two more speakers if you're curious. We have Michelle Ford next. Michelle is a happily married mother of 5, the eldest of whom suffered some minor vaccine injuries. She is a health insurance broker in Southern California and the founder of the nonprofit Vaccine Injury Awareness League, VILE for short, which aims to educate her fellow citizens about the prevalence and atrocities of vaccine injury. She has independently studied vaccine injury since 2004. In addition to her vaccine-related advocacy efforts, she also serves her community through her involvement with the Culver City chapter of the National Exchange Club, whose mission is the prevention of child abuse. She just completed her term as president of her local chapter. I met Michelle during the fight against AB 2109. After I spoke there, this woman came up and gave me a hug and said, "Just wanted to meet you, and now I have to race back to the airport in time to pick up my kids in Los Angeles from school." So she is just a dedicated advocate. She's up here again from Southern California, fighting for our rights. Let's give Michelle a warm welcome.
Wow, hi everybody. So I don't normally have this sexy voice. I've been doing a lot of talking, but I'm so honored to be with you today. So thank you for this opportunity. Although the circumstances that have brought us together leave very much to be desired, I think it's important to note that SB 277 has definitely awoken a sleeping giant. So for that, I am very grateful. I've made some of the best new friends that I know will be friends for life in this mission, so thank you. I'm honored to create a new realm of possibility with you today. In order to do that, however, I would like to take a walk down memory lane for just a moment. In this year, Oprah Winfrey's talk show went national. In the same year, Geraldo Rivera gripped the nation with the much anticipated and heavily disappointing televised opening of the Al Capone's vaults. We Are the World was the #1 song. Out of Africa won Best Picture. The world watched as Russia lived through the horrendous and very frightening nuclear accident at Chernobyl. The Space Shuttle Challenger exploded after takeoff at Cape Canaveral, Florida, and all 7 of our dear astronauts were killed. Our nation was stunned. It was also in this year that the Supreme Court upheld and reaffirmed abortion rights. This was the first year that Dr. Martin Luther King was honored with a national holiday. Lastly, the first ever genetically engineered vaccine for hepatitis B gained FDA approval. So what year was this?
1985.
Close. It was 1986. Another thing that happened in 1986 that didn't seem to get much, if any, attention was the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. And as many of us already know, this egregious law indemnified our vaccine makers. It also indemnified the doctors who provide vaccines, and it indemnified our government. This law helped to increase the profits of the vaccine makers. No one was ever to be blamed anymore after that law was passed. Instead, they passed the liability onto the consumers by adding a 75-cent tax onto each dose. It also mandated a very very biased and difficult to navigate vaccine injury court system. To date, this vaccine injury compensation program has paid out over $3.1 billion for vaccine injuries, including 83 verified cases of autism. This must have been a wake-up call for them, however, because in short order, they introduced a mantra. Sorry. The mantra is that there is no link between vaccines and autism. Give me a break. So let's just imagine for a moment, stick with me here. Imagine for a moment what our lives today would be like if this law had never passed. First of all, we wouldn't be here today protecting what little rights we have left. But even bigger than that, we would have doctors that are conscientious, providing patient care that is based on individual needs instead of a one-size-fits-all mandate. We would have talented researchers and doctors that are still allowed to question science. We would have doctors that are not in fear of losing their credibility or their licensure or their livelihoods for being committed to this quality care. It would still be okay to ask questions. We would also have several million children, young adults, and adults living without autism, ADD, ADHD, tics, encephalopathy, lupus, Tourette's, autoimmune disease, gut problems, helmets, panic disorder, noise-canceling earphones, eczema, crossed eyes, insomnia, prescription drug dependency, wheelchairs, diapers, seizures, cancer, and this is not an all-inclusive list. I could go on and on and on. Additionally, the pharmaceutical industry would not be boasting year after year about sales, vaccine sales in the tens of billions of dollars annually, all on the backs of our sick citizens, paid for by their largest consumer, our own federal government. We would not have the highest infant mortality rate in the developed world. Drug makers might even make safe products. Now fancy that. We must raise the flag of unity today and of hope alongside our fellow citizens and continue to educate. This is just the beginning. We must educate them in every school, in every city, in every county, and in every state. We are fighting for the rights, even of our staunchly pro-vax and pro-pharma neighbors, friends, and family. They just don't know that we're fighting for them too yet. One day, they will thank you for your vision, for your courage, and for your foresight. As a nation, we've made mistakes before. We have course corrected. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to stand against this atrocity and stand for our future, and we can do this. When our founding fathers created the Declaration of Independence, there was not a chance in hell that they would successfully ever sever the ties with Great Britain, but they did. When Martin Luther King marched for equality, there was no general belief at the time that he would succeed and that equality would prevail. But indeed, my friends, it has prevailed. When the suffragettes demanded the right to vote, there was no probability in sight that they would succeed, but in fact, they did too. There was no chance for peace in South Africa, or that there would be an end to the 46 years of government-supported apartheid, but because of Nelson Mandela, it did. There is peace there. There is no acceptable number of vaccine injuries to justify this madness. With almost 300 new vaccines in the pipeline, the time is now to take action, and I don't mean on the defense. Today I mean on the offense, my friends. We are the voters. We are the 99%. I want you to know that regardless of what happens in that hearing today or next week or the week after, I propose that we take on repealing the 1986 National Child I thought I was going to have to repeat that, but clearly you got it. It starts with voting in the right candidates. It also means voting out. Voting out the ones in these hearings that do not support parental rights. The sooner that we accomplish this mission, the sooner we will spare the lives of countless children. The time is now to reclaim our God-given rights as citizens of a great nation. I still believe in America. I still believe in the right to the pursuit of liberty, life, and happiness. And I'll leave you with this. As Margaret Mead once said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Thank you. One more notch up. I'm hear ya.
Hopefully they heard that in there. Nice work. Our final speaker is Landon